Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Be More recording, where we try to inspire you to be a little bit more of every role within the Salesforce ecosystem and beyond. For today's session, we are exploring what it takes to be more dreaming. And I'm joined today by So if you could introduce yourself for our audience, please.
Hi, Tom. Thank you so very much for having me. It's basically one of my favorite podcasts at this time, so I'm very happy to be part of it. Hello, Trailblazers. I am Maham. I am Salesforce MVP. I'm a mama of two beautiful boys. I am community group leader, Dubai Developer Group. And apart from that, I have my own consultancy firm. I'm a director and technical architect at Cloud One. And yes, Dubai Dreaming is basically my newest, agenda that is being added to my profiles, and I'm so excited for that.
It sounds like you've got quite a lot there to keep you busy already, even if we're taking the dreaming event out of the equation, right?
Of course, it's just like everything else equals Dubai Dreaming now. That's my
Yeah.
life at the moment.
Okay, awesome. So if we were to kind of sum up your role as a organizer or somebody who's helping put together Dubai Dreaming, how would you describe that to us? Like, what does that typically entail on the day to day, really?
Okay. So, regarding Dubai Dreaming, particularly, or any dreaming events, they are
Hmm.
basically leaders. So you have to select a pool of people who are happy giving back. It's not just, it couldn't be a one-man show at all, Tom. So most
Yeah.
of the times it's like even Salesforce community itself asks you to bring in more people that can help you, CGLs who are already active in the community. And that's how basically you build a team. You build a team of people who can organize that particular event together, a dreaming event, and then we distribute the roles actually. So who's going to take care of the logistics, who's going to take care of the speakers, who's going to take care of the registrations, who's going to take care of the attendees and the general queries. So this is like it. And one question that you just asked, that what it takes
Hmm.
a lot. It's a very special commitment. It's a very special commitment, I'll be really honest. It's not just like, you find it fancy, you do it. It is fancy, but it needs some really, really fancy efforts to,
Hmm.
implement this. And I guess with my previous experience with Pakistan Dreamin, I still love that venture a lot. Not part of that anymore, but with that and with Dubai Dreamin particularly, I am basically the founder and leader of Dubai Dreamin. I initiated this, I collected the people. So at the moment, Ali Said, Misbal, Enam, and Georgie, we are running this show, and I'm acting as the leader. That means that if anything goes wrong, it's like, where's Maham? So
Yeah.
it's that sort of a role. But yes, I guess daily to daily, I can safely say that such sort of a commitment could take your 1 to 1.5 hours of effort. So you have to be very prepared for this, that
Hmm.
if you're committing to such things, you got to make sure that you have one super full-fledged hour to pay attention once your dreaming events is actually approaching near, especially if you're going for an inaugural one, just like we are doing the inaugural event for like Dubai.
Hmm.
It's for the very first time, and we are just starting from scratch, like maintaining that where we have to go, what are the best areas and stuff like that. So if you're going for an inaugural one, make sure that you have settled amount of time that you can dedicate to the community.
It's amazing how you juggle that, as I say, amongst everything else. So a big, big respect for that. So thinking about this now as somebody that's perhaps that escalation point or helping to pull together speakers and sponsors and things like that, what type of other people do you interact with when you're organizing this type of event? Do you kind of have a very technical team of like other developers, consultants, architects, or how does that work in reality?
Sure. So, Tom, it's basically a community event which is organized by the community and from the community.
Mm,
So, most of the roles which we have currently for Dubai Dreaming is like they are all Salesforce, they're all related to Salesforce ecosystem. So, Georgie is a CTA, and Misbah is technical architect, and Ali is a marketer champion, and I am the technical architect. So, definitely, we do have the subtle amount of backgrounds to, just jump in here. I will just talk about Dubai Dreaming, and then within this journey, we
mm.
explore ourselves as social media marketing managers, and we explore ourselves as graphic designers. So this is all part of the game. We find ourselves
Yeah.
as content writers. So this actually gives us an opportunity to just explore the several part of us, like, carve out the artist in us and the content writer in us. But yes, from my experience and from rest of the dreaming events that I have seen, most of the people are from the Salesforce background, and they are highly technical people. So we just don't want to give this notion to people that they're in safe hands. So it's a community-led conference, but from the credible people.
We've touched on this a little bit already, but opening this up in case you want to expand on it a little bit more. This role, as you said, you kind of fit it around your other full-time commitments and your family and everything else that you're doing. Typically, you say takes about an hour to 1.5 hours a day. Do you think that's fair?
Yes, that's fair. Again, that's fair because you gotta get hold of your attendees, make sure that you create the nominal hype.
Yeah,
Because you're an organizer and your socials have to be updated. You got to make sure that if there's any query, anyone is facing any issue with registrations and stuff. So you have to dedicate your each hours, because as soon as you open your registrations and your speakers and sponsors, there would be lots of queries coming in. If you are doing it for the second or the third time, maybe your venue is finalized and your sponsors are confirmed, and you have already the audience which are interested in your dreaming event. Even in that case, I can safely say 3 to 4 hours is something that you have to spend each week to
yeah,
organize a community event.
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like oiling up that machine, and then your second, third event becomes a little bit more kind of well oiled and
Yeah.
kind of smoother. Yeah. Okay. And just kind of throwing in a little bit of a bonus question now, but do you think sometimes those needs, those requirements kind of conflict with each other? Like the needs of a speaker might conflict with the needs of a sponsor. So do you think like relationship management and communication skills are really important here as well?
Very important, Tom, because you need to give people this sense of credibility that
Mm,
we are here to do a community conference, which is for
yeah.
everyone. Our sponsors are important for us. Our speakers are important for us. We are not making this event successful. We are just conducting a conference. What's making this event successful is our sponsors, is the audience, is the trailblazers, are the speakers, which are giving their wealth of knowledge to everyone.
Mm.
So in terms of the conflict, particularly with me, I make sure that there is no conflict. Like, if there's a
Yeah.
sponsor, and because we have the sponsorship packages, and sometimes within the sponsorship packages we have some speaker slots free. So let's say if they say that with five we need one more speaker slot, my sort of stuff is all right, you got it. Because
Yeah.
you are already trusting in us, and if there's a little bit of leverage that you can give to everyone, I really don't mind that. So 100% the conflicts do come with the registrations. There are people that sometimes when early bird is open, they'll just come that we are busy, can you please give us the early bird again? And sometimes we the early bird on the full price as well. So this is all part of the game, because at the
Mm.
end of the day, the one thing, being the dreaming event organizer, in your head it should always be, there are people which are going to make your efforts a success, your conference
Yeah.
a success. It is their conference. So once you fix it up here and it's
Yeah.
being put in here, you know that then there would be no conflict in your life or in the organization. You know what to
Yeah.
do.
Awesome. And I think it's about kind of remaining open to everybody, right? You don't want to exclude somebody by going down a particular route or saying a particular sponsor can't speak or can't get an early bird
No.
ticket, right?
No, I don't think so, because at the end of the day, you need everyone's participation.
Mm.
Because it is a community event, but definitely it is not. We don't conduct it under any corporate official names.
Yeah.
It's a trailblazer community event, and people who already have they have their interest. They want to engage in the community, and that's why they're there. And for that, we have to honor them in any particular manner. And
Yeah.
communication comes first here. I mean, if you're an introvert, you got to make sure that you're an extrovert to be a
Yeah.
community organizer. Like, it's not going to work if you're not going to reply to your audience. It's not going to work. Like, I think I have started talking to so many people after I became a community conference organizer.
Mm.
Um, and finding and reading people's mind, that what next question they might ask me related to my conference, what are their expectations, and I'm continuously taking the feedback. So it actually helps you in many different ground. It helps you.
Mm. And I kind of touching on something you said there about continuous feedback and always learning. I think that's an important attribute, no matter the role, right?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't come up with any role. Like if you're a leader, only at that point
Mm.
of time you're going to touch, specific areas. It's about you four people or you five people. It's the equal responsibility,
Yeah.
Tom. We all just committed to one thing, and we have to then stay committed. Once your date is there, and then there is basically the trust of Trailblazer community itself. Like
Mm.
the guys have approved our application to conduct a Trailblazer community event in the region, and then the trust of the people. So it's definitely
Yeah.
about don't care about the role, just do the work, just get the
Yeah.
shit. That's Anand.
And I love how that comes back to trust because that's obviously a really important value for Salesforce as well. So
And
that yeah, that's great. So thinking about this now as perhaps somebody that's listening and perhaps they're feeling inspired and potentially want to start thinking about planning their own dreaming event. What tips or advice would you give to that person?
I think that's a great question. I think the very first step would be, Tom, that be mindful of the things that
Mhm.
you're going to commit. Again, I'm going to repeat my words. It is not something that you committed to do on the grounds of being funky. It's really not funk. Proper. It's a proper responsibility. It's a
Mhm.
matter of credibility. It's a proper. It's a matter of people's trust, Trailblazers trust, Salesforce trust on you. So you better make sure that you have that sufficient amount of time, because you start something, right, and let's say one of the team members then just can't commit to the things. It has an impact. It
Yeah.
has an impact. It talks volume, though it's, maybe I can sound very simple, but it's not that. The whole team is, shaken by just one individual coming up later that, I can't manage this. Or it has an impact on the community, like the community would be answering, what has happened to the leadership? We have trusted these
Mhm.
people. It
Yeah.
has an impact on the Trailblazer community, that what they have thought before coming to us with these names. So make sure that you know what you're committing to. It's a job. It's a proper job. You have to
Yeah.
spend, not let's say an hour, but half an hour each day to see that you know where your team is, if they need you anywhere. The second thing is that pull the people out of the community for your conference who really 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 want to do this, like
Mm.
who are passionate about giving back. They won't be like, we all have families, we have work, and definitely that is the primary thing that we do anyhow. And I'm
Yeah.
a mother too, so you can hear me, like normally I'm talking to the sponsors. Like another day I was talking to my diamond sponsor, and my kids just started asking for me, like, "Mommy, we need food." And the sponsor was so generous. He said, "Why
Mm.
don't you just go and cook something and then we'll talk back again?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Something like that." So the rest of the stuff do stay there, and everyone understand that your family. However, please don't commit to the things that you think later on you can do. It
Mm.
needs time, it needs commitment, and it needs ideas. So you have to be
Yeah.
really, really creative. Your dreaming event, what is the impact that you're trying to make through this? It's not just about a conference, Tom. It's not just about an event that you did and you slept. No, it's about you organized an event. You did something. A pool of people did something, and what impact did it create? What the
Mhm.
community got out of it, what was the feedback, and then definitely work on the book, like working on both the positive and the negative feedback is equally important. So make sure that even after your event you stay connected to the trailblazer, you stay connected to the sponsors, because those are the guys who are going to coming up to your next event, so you
Yeah.
make sure you don't forget them. That would be my number three tip to any of the community conference organizers, that select a team who are passionate about it. Make sure that you have certain amount of time. Make sure you take
Mm.
and act on both the positive and the negative feedback. And the fourth thing is, if you want to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. It gives you, like, every day, Tom, like honestly for the wide dreaming particularly, every day you sleep with a sense of fulfillment in you.
Mm.
You did your work, that's your responsibility. You did your family, that's your responsibility. Like you feel good about it. You feel all
Yeah.
the good things that you took care of your kids, you took care of your family, you took care of your work. But then when you do something like this, of giving back, it gives you a sense of fulfillment. And honestly, every day when you go back, when you go back to your bed, it just gives you such an amazing vibes that again did something for someone else and to help others. So if you want to do it, just do it. Don't think
Yeah.
much about it.
Okay, awesome. Well, I can certainly relate to that kind of warm, fuzzy feeling you get inside when you're doing good or you're helping somebody or you've got really great feedback about something. It feels great, and it feels especially good that you're kind of helping others and kind of bettering others at the same time too. So 1,000,000% like on board with that. That's amazing. And thinking about this now through your kind of own lens. This isn't your first streaming event that you're helping to organize. So, thinking about this and thinking about Pakistan Dreaming, if you were to start out again, is there anything you would change or do differently, perhaps?
I think, particularly coming from Pakistan and organizing Pakistan Dreaming and then coming here, um, if I had to improve something, like
Mm,
if I'll go back in the future and let's say I'm going to organize something in the UK or somewhere
yeah.
else, I think I'll think of the factor of inclusive. I'll just really
Mm,
on this thing. Because when we were in Pakistan, Tom, it's about, we were the same culture, the same people, the same thoughts, the same mindsets, right?
yeah.
The same products. But when I came here, when I came in Dubai, in the very initial phases, I didn't realize that now the dreaming event is going to talk to around 40 plus nationalities on the same ground, right?
Well,
And like the why is lots of people are here, like lots of nationalities, lots of people, lots of different mindsets, and everyone's coming from some different background. So I think be very very inclusive, even if it's not something which is part of your brought up, which is part of your mindset. If let's say if we have to talk about we are in the pride month, even if it's something that you don't do by yourself but you live in a community where this is appreciated, you have to appreciate it.
yeah.
Let's get very very focused on these sort of stuff, right? You don't do it, you don't do it, but you are doing this thing for the community that comprises of the pride, individuals.
Yeah.
So you have to honor them, you have to respect them. And I guess making everyone feel inclusive in what
Mm,
you are doing is something that I will definitely improve. I am improving, like
yeah.
I'm talking through it, so you can hear that we're already in there. I
Mm,
already have the thing in mind, but very next time when I have to do that, maybe just take a look at these factors. Make sure everyone feels part of what you do because you're doing it for them, and
yeah.
then make sure that
Okay.
everyone feels respected because you're doing it for them. So every time when you do something for the community, please don't think that you're doing it for yourself. This is me. No, this is not you. This is the community that you're serving. This is the community
Mm,
you have to respect. So just make everyone more inclusive and more respected is something that's going to be the part of my Dubai Dreaming 2 agenda.
yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, I think that's really important. I've done episodes in themselves on being inclusive and being more pride, so I can certainly relate to what you're saying there. And I think it kind of comes down to that feedback piece a little bit. Like feedback is a gift, right? So treat it as a gift, learn from it, be better because of it, and the goal there is to include more people, be open to kind of a wider audience as a result, and as a kind of consequence of that, you'll have a more successful event, right?
Yes, that's right. And honestly, I'm telling this to you, right, because I have a very good friend in Dubai, and he sent me a message that, Maham, I belong to an LGBTQ society, so can we join this? And I said, can I have your phone number? We need to talk. I'm not going
Yeah.
I'm not sending you a message for this. I am going to call you. Let's have a talk. And then we literally had a talk. And I said, it's about community. It's about building one community. And that's why Dubai Dreaming is happening. And maybe that's why every dreaming event happen across the globe. So you are in.
Mm,
I said, in fact, you are in and you're going to speak so that you can take all the leverages of Dubai Dreaming. So
yeah.
that's the conversation that I had. And yes, if I'm definitely going to explore some more areas regarding this, just like I explored this
Mm,
in the preparation of this event. That maybe my dreaming event spoke nowhere regarding that community, and that's why they felt left out.
yeah.
Right? Maybe in my next, I want to make everyone feel inclusive and respected for my
Mm,
dreaming events, particularly.
yeah. Okay, well, that's great, and that is super important to me as well. So I'm glad that you're taking on that feedback and trying to be better the next time around as well, because that shows you're open to the feedback and open to it being an iterative process, right? If you were to summarize some skills or attributes it takes to kind of be more dreaming organizer, are there particular qualities that come to mind? Being organized, I think, is probably a really important one here, right?
I think being the organizer, Tom, let's just first talk about the ethical values of that,
Mm,
right? Ethically, you have to be very committed. Ethically, you have to be very honest. Ethically, you have to tell people the truth. Just in case
yeah,
of making some false publicity, please don't give the wrong information. Right? That's
yeah.
that's the ethical values of an organizer. From the management perspective, I think you need to have very sound communication skills. You need to talk to people. You need to understand that what is their pain point. What is the target audience that you're talking to? Is it your sponsors? The sponsors have some other set of pains, like the
Yeah.
questions or the curious. The
Mm,
participants might have some other, and then on top of that, the speakers should be coming up with some other or queries to you. So you have to be very precise, very precise to the audience that you're going to talk to. Make sure that you answer those questions. Make sure that everyone feels they are on the same ground, like on the grounds that they want to be on. Right? We are delivering what we have committed. All right.
mhm.
And I think time management is really important. I have seen that, sometimes we just say, my event is in November, so I'll just start doing something in September. No, please don't do that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a complete mess. You cannot organize even 100 people on the same floor in 2 months because it's community
Mm,
and you have to manage a lot. Even this, I guess, for the sponsors, it might take a month for you to mature a sponsor for all the
yeah.
information that you might need. Then make sure that you commit to a good amount of time for you to practice and run a community conference. Give it a proper time so that you can come up with some great ideas, you can execute, you can implement some great things that can make an impact, that talks volume of the impact. The third thing is that include everyone that you could possibly include. you know
Mhm. Yeah.
be very, very up to date with the things which are going on in the market. Like in our case, we are talking a lot about Einstein, we are talking a lot about data cloud, we are talking a lot about Hyperforce, everything which is part of the current ecosystem. Make sure that you're really, really up to date with that, and then your agenda talks about the very same topics, because
Mm,
most of the times trailblazers are interested in the most running practice, running products. So keep yourself very, very well informed with the latest tools and technologies, and make sure that your conference for that year talks about those things that trailblazers want to learn, right?
yeah.
I guess. And fourth thing, being an organizer is something, create that passion in you, just be very passionate about it.
Mm,
Because it's tough. It's tough managing the sponsors. It's tough, being a graphic designer while you're a technical architect and you have written code your whole life, like
yeah.
my okay. Try to make it your passion. Just start
Yeah.
loving it. Start loving the different concepts. Start giving your input. And being an organizer, your input is very, very important to rest of your team, right? So if you're liking something or if you're disliking something, say it out. It will help you to it will help you to make and feel heard and respected. And I guess
Mm,
the rest of the stuff is just it just stays in the background, because once you'll start loving it as an organizer, you own the work that you've been doing. Everything else would be something that like, and be very unique. I mean, your dreaming
mhm.
event does not have to be matched with some other dreaming event, and you were doing it for the very first time, and then you were taking a look at the Midwest. Like, come on, they did it for the very first time. They are just coming up, or London's calling. They're doing their ninth edition, and it's your first edition. So
Mm,
everything comes up with experience and stuff. So be very unique and very yourself, what you want to do with your dreaming event. So that's basically all for the organizers.
yeah. Okay, awesome. And I think there's a couple of things that resonate with me there. I think the first thing is kind of be kind to yourself and be fair to yourself. Like what you just said, there's kind of really no point in comparing yourself and trying to hold yourself up to the same standard as an event like London's Calling that's maybe 9, 10 years in the
Yes.
making, because you're they've learned. you
Yeah,
haven't had an opportunity to learn yet. So I think that's super important.
totally fun.
And what about kind of thinking about this as somebody who's perhaps looking to kind of build up their confidence with organizing events? Do you think helping out with a Trailblazer community group is kind of a good stepping stone to that?
100%. I guess if you are a dreaming organizer, Tom, your very first target, like your very first target or your very first audience that you should be speaking to the CGLs.
Yeah.
And because their value, they would add the same value to you as maybe you might even not think, because they are managing a group of people, the specific group of
Mhm.
people, and their input is really, really important. Like,
Yeah. Also, a CGL is likely to be on the ground in your local area, has the experience of the local community, and perhaps some first-hand knowledge of what works and what doesn't work, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, awesome. So, thinking about this now as an opportunity to kind of demyth something or clarify something, perhaps people think of a dreaming event and they have a common misconception. Is there anything that kind of comes to mind that you like to clarify for our audience?
I think one thing that I want to clarify: most people think that dreaming events are Salesforce events. Uh,
Mm,
that's the first misconception that I want to basically retaliate here. Dreaming events are trailblazer community events. They are the conferences which they are the community conferences which are organized from and within the community. So trailblazer community is there. Like, those people are so generous. They'll give you everything that you want,
yeah.
idea and support and guidance, and
Yeah.
they just like stay ahead of, you send a Slack message, they'll get back to you right away, right? Salesforce Trailblazer community is going to support you on each level. However, Dreaming event is not Salesforce event. I mean, most of the times I heard the questions like why they're paid. Because rest of the Salesforce World Tour and
Mm,
Excel events are not paid. So the misconception about this is that this is a volunteer work. We don't get
yeah.
any profit. Like the conference organizers get nothing. We take the money, we reserve the money, and then basically we just invest the same money in organizing the same event, like, event
Hmm.
organizer, venue, food. Because I really wanted to clear, what are the concept and the crust of the dreaming event. So the crust of the dreaming events is to actually come, network, learn. We try hard to, build the community across the year, but most probably it just speaks to a particular audience. But dreaming event, when we organize it annually, that basically gives us a chance to build a stronger community, and it talks to different audience, like all the audience that might exist in that region. So it adds value to your knowledge, to your career, right? There is a lot of effort being injected in a single conference to make it, a resounding experience for the trailblazers. So it's really important for people to know that what are dreaming events and why we
Mm.
conduct dreaming events.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, I think that's great. And unfortunately, having to bring today's session to a close now, but it's been great talking with you and learning more about this. So, before we do go, what's a way for people to connect with you and how can people find out more about Dubai Dreaming?
So for Dubai Dreaming, we have our socials set up. You can find us on Twitter. I will
Hmm.
pin the channels
Yeah.
in that, and then we have our LinkedIn page. All of the updates are there. Apart from that, we have our email address. It's info@theratofthebydreaming.com. If you have any questions, anything, you can just find it on our website, on the email address that I just shared. For me, you can just go ahead and type Maham Hassan in LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm open, always open. I love connecting with people. I love this Trailblazer community. So if there is anything that I can help with, you can find me on Twitter and then LinkedIn, and I'll
Hmm.
share my socials as well. I'm happy to connect with everyone.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks again for your time today. And hopefully, we can inspire some more people together to be more dreaming. So, thanks.
100%, Tom. Thank you so very much for having me today.